Hello everybody and welcome to Mother Can. Today I'm going to give you some starting points on how you can start your own childcare business from home. So I've done it. That was my entry into entrepreneurship, and I still work from home today, starting 10 years ago, and I'm still running a very successful childcare business from home. So this has allowed me to not only earn an income, but also allowed me to spend time raising my children and maintaining my household simultaneously. Okay, so we're going to jump into the first thing you need to do to start your childcare business today. So first of all, you can just do this online. You need to look for a course that says home-based childcare. The courses are usually a 12-week course, and you can do them. You can go to an education centre to do it, or you can do it nowadays online. I personally went to a centre. I had a tutor. Somebody was talking to me, taking me through the steps on how to do this. We had a PowerPoint. We were looking through it. We done activities with other people that were becoming childminders as well. So it was very interactive. Nowadays, you can do this online. So you just go online, find a course that suits you, and sign up. You also need to do your pediatric first aid. So this is first aid for children. You also need to do a food hygiene course. A lot of the time you can purchase your home-based childcare course, your pediatric first aid and your food hygiene as a bundle, or you can do them separately. But usually the home-based childcare course is roughly about 12 weeks long. So that's that. So you're qualified, you're good to go, you're ready. You've got your certificate from your course that you've done your pediatric first aid, and you've done your food hygiene. Now you need to get certified by Ofsted. Ofsted are the people that let people know that it's okay for them to trust their child with you. That's what the Ofsted stamp is for, basically. And that you're regulated, and that you're not just doing this for the fun of it. It's a certified stamp to say that you're good to go on the childcare front. Ofsted have two parts that you can register for: the early years register and the childcare register. The early years register is when you're looking after children ages 0 to 5, and the childcare register is when you're looking after children above 5 years old. However, the childcare register is also split into two parts, which is the voluntary register and the compulsory register. The compulsory section is when you're looking after children between 5 and 8. The voluntary register is when you're looking after children above 8 years old. So you can apply for the early years register, or you can apply for the childcare register, or you can apply for both of them together. Usually when you register for Ofsted, they'll also register you to have a DBS check, and that's just to make sure that you're suitable and that all the adults over 18 years old living in your home are also suitable to be around children that are not your own. So now you want to start thinking about the legalities around starting your own childcare service. You need to register as self-employed with .gov by the following year of when you started childcare. So, for instance, if you started childcare this year, 2023, by 2024, October the 5th, you need to have told the government that you are now self-employed, and then start making national insurance contributions. That's the first step. Your tax return will need to be filed and paid by the 31st of January each year. Make sure you've got your paperwork all in order. Throughout the year, you're keeping track of receipts, of expenditure, income that's coming in, and maybe do it as one of your weekly admin activities. So then when it's time to actually file your taxes, whether you want to do this via another accountant or if you want to do the self-assessment yourself, then you're literally just going back to a sheet or a document which shows what's coming that year and what's gone out that year. And then they will calculate how much tax and national insurance you're due to pay. The next part of it is to put some contracts in place for the parents that are going to be leaving their children with you. It's best to be as detailed as possible with whatever childcare arrangement you've come up with verbally with that parent. Whatever you've come up with and you've agreed upon, make sure you put it in that contract. And then make sure a parent has got their copy and you've got your copy, and that both copies are both signed by both of you. Okay? All copies signed by yourself and the parent, so everyone knows what is going on and what the deal is. Okay? When I first started at childminding, I was putting things like, collection time, leaving time, kind of minimal things. And then over time, I started to add more detail into those contracts. So some things you won't know off the bat, some things you'll just have to learn over time. Okay, so now we need to think about your offer. What are you offering parents when it comes to your childcare service? Do you have a niche? Do you speak a language? Are you going to maybe teach a skill to those children? Are you only going to focus on children that have special education needs, for instance? What is it about your service for why parents should say, this is the person I'm choosing to look after my children. This is the person I'm going to trust. You also need to think about, are you a childcare service that offers food, offers nappies, offers wipes, offers, as part of the fee that parents will be paying? Or is it that they'll have to bring lunch for their child, they'll have to bring breakfast, they'll have to bring nappies, they'll have to bring wipes? Or is that something that you will provide in your service? You can also think about, what age children are you going to be looking after? Will you only be looking after 0 to 5, or will you only be looking after children that are above 5? Therefore, you're only doing the morning school run and the afternoon school run. So you're not having them for the whole day, you're just having them for the portion of the day. And remember, this also will determine which part of the Ofsted register you're going to apply for. So now we need to think about how you're going to market yourself. Are you a parent yourself? Parents like that. I'm not saying that you can't do it if you're not a parent, but parents like when they're leaving their child with somebody who has some type of experience already. Do you have any transferable skills that you're taking from maybe the role that you're in now that you can bring across to your childcare service? What have you learned? How can you market yourself? How can you take the things that you've learned from your previous experiences in other roles into your childcare business, and how are you going to market that? So now you've figured that out, you need to think about where you're going to market yourself. You can do this on places like your local authority's website, within schools, within children's centres, on childcare websites, and the best one, which has worked for me mostly, is through word of mouth. Most of my clientele has come through word of mouth, where one parent has just said, yeah, she's great. Thanks, by the way. She's great. She looks after my children, they're very happy, and it just kind of flows from there. Word of mouth is a very powerful marketing tool, so yeah, give it a go. All right, so now we need to think about your resources. Toys, books, activities, paper. Make sure you've got paper because they love paper. Pens, paint, all those types of things. And in the beginning, when you're starting out, you might not have the income to spend on things like this, but you can go to charity shops, you can speak to family and friends who are willing to donate old toys that they have. Obviously, make sure that they're still in good working order and that they're, you clean them, you disinfect them, and etc. Not that your family are nasty or your friends are nasty, but it's still good practice. You can go to the library to borrow books and take books back. You can also some libraries, my local library, you can actually buy books from the library that they no longer want, or they've replaced with a newer version and they're selling the older version. You can buy those books for like 20p, 50p. It's a really good resource. And then over time, you can just replenish those things. You can chuck them out. Things will get broken, okay? Toys will get broken either by wear or tear or just an upset child, okay? Things, and you'll have to throw it away. As you start to get an income, just start to replace those things with newer things. When it comes to resources for further learning for yourself, career progression, courses, guidance, and things like that, I recommend going on websites like Pacey or .gov. You can also contact your local authority to see what local guidance you might need to run a successful childcare service as well. All right, you're qualified. You've registered for .gov, you've registered for Ofsted, you've got your DBS, everything's in place, you've got resources, your home is now ready to welcome children in. Parent contacts you, says, yep, I'm interested, blah, 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 you're now going to be interviewed, okay? Even though you're self-employed, you started your own business, within this space, you are going to still be interviewed. Those parents are coming to your home to interview you to make sure that they're happy for you to look after their child or children. You have to make sure that you've prepared. Make sure your house is tidy. Make sure it's clean. Make sure it's welcoming. Make sure it's warm and comforting. Because sometimes they'll come without the child, but most times they will come with the child. And so you have to make sure that that child also feels okay as well. A lot of the time, children that are being left with you, this is their first time ever being away from their parents for long periods of time. So you have to make sure that you're going above and beyond to make sure that child feels really comfortable in your setting. The interview process as well is where you can go into a bit more detail about what your background is in terms of career. And why you've gone into childcare. Parents don't really ask me now what I used to do before childcare because I've been doing it for a number of years. But when you're first starting out, I had to let parents know what I was doing previously. And that helped as well. It helped that I used to work for the NHS. Parents found comfort in that I've got some type of background in the care sector. If on the day that the parents come to interview you, your own children or your own child is at home, you don't go above and beyond with your own child. Just be as natural as possible, because your child will look at you like,
Mummy don't normally act like this. Like, why is she giving me all the snacks in the world?
This is not normal. Like, why is she being extra nice to me today? Your kids will show you up in front of those parents and they will let you know, this ain't normal. Mummy don't treat me like this normally, okay? So make sure you're nice to your kids, okay? Make sure you treat them well, but also let parents know that you are a firm childminder if you are. If you're not, good luck, because those kids are going to walk all over you. But let parents know that you're loving, that you're bubbly. Show them who you are. Show them that, you're outgoing, you're adventurous, you like to do this in your personal life. This is what you like to do. You might like to work out, so you've got a lot of energy. You might like art. You might, whatever it is you like to do, show parents how you're going to implement that into your setting. But at the same time, also let parents know that you are firm. There are rules in place within your house because it is your home. And at the end of the day, those children are going to come to your house, make a big fat mess and leave. And you're going to be left to tidy it up. So you have to have boundaries in place, not only for the children, but also for the parents. And when I talk about boundaries for parents, it's mostly like making sure that they respect your time, that they're not dropping children off too early and they're not collecting them too late. Okay, they have to respect that this is your home and you also have a life outside of your job. Okay, another boundary that I would say put in place is that in the beginning, parents will sometimes try to negotiate with you on your fees. Okay, now it's completely up to you if you want to, go down that route of negotiating with a parent about your fees, or if you're just going to stand firm and say, this is the fee and that's it. Obviously, if you're just starting out, it might be a bit more difficult and you might be a bit more scared of where you're going to get money from. So you decide to negotiate and you might end up dropping your fees. But don't make this a regular, consistent thing. And make sure that you're reviewing your fees each year. During your interview, make sure that you're also showing the parents your certificates that you have. So your certificate from being qualified as a childcare provider, your DBS and your Ofsted certificate. Okay, I keep all of mine in a folder, and so when parents come, I just present that folder to them and they can just look through it as and when they want. Also within that folder are my policies and procedures for how I run the service, which parents also get a copy of once they decide to sign up. Okay, cool. Next. So the last bit of this is how you're going to scale up. What are you thinking about? Is it going to just be that, you're quite content and you're just happy with, looking after children day to day, and you do this and you do that, and the days are just going
by and by and by.
No, I'm kidding. So as I said previously, you want to make sure that you're reviewing your prices each year. Okay, if your prices go up, how are you justifying that your price is going up? Is it just because the cost of living is going up, or are you adding more value to your service for why you're going to now increase your prices? Is it that you've got an earlier start time and a later collection time? Is it that you're now niching down into your childcare service and you're going to be heavily focused on a certain activity? Is it that you're a childcare setting that, you know, when the children come home from school and they've got school homework, you're able to sit with them all and guide them through the homework that they need to do? Or is that something that you're going to agree with the parent that they do at home with their own child? And that's it. So here's a quick rundown of what we went through today. First, you start with qualifying, and that means doing your childcare course, your paediatric first aid, and your food hygiene course. Then you need to decide which Ofsted register you're going to apply for and ensure that all adults over 18 living in your home have had their DBS check. Then you want to register on .gov as self-employed. Make sure you've got your childcare contracts in place. Think about your niche or offer and how you're going to market yourself. Do research on where you can get resources from when you're starting and throughout your service. Make sure you prepare and plan for your interview when parents start to call. And finally, think about how you can scale up your business once you've reached to a certain point. And that's it. That's how to get started on running a childcare business from the comfort of your own home. As I said previously, this has been a really good way for me to look after my children and also earn an income at the same time. If you have any questions, you can reach out to me on Instagram or you can drop a comment below. Thanks for watching, guys. Take care.